As always, this past Monday, I released a song. Monday night, I started wondering, shoot, is there a real issue with the song? I couldn't tell if it was my ears were just tired from working all day or what. But, midday Tuesday, I realized that there was a massive fundamental issue with that mix. So I took it offline and I went back to the drawing board and just started remixing. I actually ended up playing some new guitar parts and everything, and then relaunched that video on Tuesday night because of this fundamental issue. So that's what we're going to talk about today here on GarageBand and Beyond. Here's what happened with that original mix. There was a problem with the bass. And that problem was that I was using the Sheps Omni channel, and I don't really know why or how it happened, but I clicked on the phase button for the left channel of the bass. So essentially what I did was it was a mono track to begin with, but when you do that, more or less what it does is pan that track hard left and right. Fundamentally, that's the most simple way I can tell you what happened with that audio signal. So if you were listening to it in your headphones or in your studio, a nice stereo setup where you could hear both the left and right channels, you probably thought, wow, that mix sounds pretty damn good. However, if you were listening on your phone or any mono source, even though your phone is supposed to be stereo, trust me, it wasn't. You don't really hear the bass, at least not on that particular song. So yeah, I was watching it on my phone. I was like, oh no, like the solo section and stuff, the bass was incredibly important. So yeah, the phase was off on that channel. So you just couldn't hear the bass at all if you listened to it on a phone or anywhere else that was sort of like a small speaker or a single speaker sound source. So I'm going to play it for you. Okay. So here's the original mix. It's down at the bottom here. And let's just play it from the top. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's play it again. And what I want you to listen for is that sliding bass part, the that thing. Here it is again. If you're watching this on your phone, you're not going to hear at all what I'm talking about. Anyway, so now I have the gain plug-in here and I have this setting it to mono. I'm going to set this to mono so you can really hear what's going on. Now try to hear that bass. Okay, turn it back into stereo. All right, so can you hear what happened? I mean, the bass just goes away. And oh my gosh, you guys, it was thoroughly embarrassing when I figured out what had actually happened. Because I actually, got up on Tuesday morning and was like, what is wrong? What is wrong with that bass signal? And so I came in and I looked at it here. It's gone now. I can show you exactly what I was dealing with. I'm literally not even using the Sheps Omni channel on this track anymore because I was so mad at it that day. But the Sheps Omni channel, it is a great plugin. But one of the things you can do here, these are, a way to switch the phase on the left and right outputs. So this one right here had been turned on when it should have just been untouched, So that's what happened. I will say the Sheps Omni channel is a very, very powerful thing. So much so that, it can either do amazing things for your mixes or totally F them up if you are like me and just bump something without paying attention to it. Now, fundamentally, what happened after that was that I was listening to that original mix and I was like, man, the stereo bass sound is pretty cool. So I had to come up with a way to redo that. I didn't want to lose that stereo bass sound, but I also needed it to work in a mono source, right? So let me turn on the mastering stuff here, mute this original track. Okay, so here's what the new mix sounds like. Aha, you can actually hear the bass if it's in a mono source. Actually, why don't I do that? Why don't I come down here quickly and prove my point here? I will drop that gain plugin here, and I will set it to mono up here. Okay. So here it is. Right? I mean, you can still hear the bass when it goes to mono. You guys, I've said it a ton of times here on my channel, but you have to do this mono check. I did do the mono check, but probably like an hour or so before the final mix popped out. And that's obviously between that last mono mix check that I did and the actual export, I missed something. It should always really happen at the end, whatever, Monday music. Sometimes I get a little tired and my brain doesn't work all that well. I should have sat here with my mix checklist. I did make a video called the final mix checklist. Didn't do all that well, but I highly recommend you watch that, print that thing out, laminate it, and leave it somewhere like on your desk. So every time you're about to spit out a final mix, you're like, yes, 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 yes. I did that. I did this. I did that. I did this. So you know for sure that you've covered all your bases before you release the mix. Okay, so let's talk about how I got that stereo bass sound to happen. So I'm using Crunch Cab, pretty much stock. I did bump it up a little bit in a couple of areas in the EQ and stuff. Or no, not bump it up, but I pulled like the 250 out. Actually, I did. Bumped up in the 100 range. And that is on both the left and right channels. Slight difference you see there. So anyway, they were doing the Crunch Cab sounds going out left and right. Sounds like this. Okay. Now, one thing that I did do, because this particular top one, I did have it groove matched to the song. I didn't groove match this one. And in fact, I even offset it a tiny, tiny bit. If you look at the top, you can see right there that it is actually pulled in advance. So the one that's groove matched is acting sort of like a delay. But I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't having phase issues, but I also wanted it to have just the tiniest little bit of a delay between the left and right. It just helps sort of accentuate that sound that I'm trying to go for on this particular song. These are panned left and right, but not so hard. This is -30. This one is 30. But to fix the fundamental issue of nothing being up the middle in the center channel, I have another groove matched channel right here. It's just a copy and pasted track. I know I say I don't do this a lot, but I did it this time. And it's a clean sound. Right? Which is groove matched and it sounds a little funky, but in the whole mix, you don't really hear it. Anyway, that's this 60s combo. I don't think I did a ton of stuff to change it. I might have changed like the microphone or something on it. I kind of doubt that I did. Might have bumped up the low end a little bit, but in general, what I did do with this center channel is, I just made sure it wasn't as loud as the ones on the side. It's more of like a supporting role in the mix of the whole thing. So it doesn't really have to be as loud as the rest of the parts, like the left and right parts. They will support and spill into the middle channel. So that is basically it. That's the biggest difference between mix 1 and mix 2. Now, the other thing I will mention, I did, like I said, recorded a different guitar part, and I did use some different amp sounds for that because I wanted it to be a lot more chaotic and a lot more heavy in the choruses. So right here, I'm using the Heartbroken thing. And in this case, because I'm using, this was 2 guitar parts that were performed left and right, I'm using 2 different amplifiers, 2 different, we're both of these are using that the Ribbon 121. But because they're 2 different amplifiers, I didn't switch to the microphone. I thought it was okay the way it was. But these sounds that I found, like this one, Mean Machine Crunch, this is a great one. Love this one. Right, that's a great one. And then the top one is the American Stack Distortion. Let's add that in. Actually, let's turn the other one off just so you can hear this one. I like this one too. The Mean Machine Crunch, just in case anybody's curious, that to me is the most Nirvana-ish sounding preset inside of GarageBand. If you're looking for that Nirvana distortion, the Mean Machine Crunch is a really good place to start. You can find it, under these guys up here when the amp sim is open. But anyway, yeah, Mean Machine Crunch, great sound. But these two joined together, so sweet. Listen to this. I love this. Is like epically rock. Rock. All right. So those are the big changes that I made. So now I'm done. I'm not going to talk about this mix. I don't want to go too deep into like the mix breakdown of this song because there's, it's a basic rock song. It's electric guitars, bass and drums, and a bunch of fun vocals that were distorted using the fuzz vocal thing, as you can see here. But you guys, I do apologize. I know I've made videos about perfectionism before, and I sat here and thought about that. Is this me being like a perfectionist, or is this me like releasing something that is like has a fundamental mistake in it? And so I put it into it was just a mistake. So it was so far from being perfect, like it wasn't even in the neighborhood. It was just wrong. So this isn't me battling with perfectionism. This was me just battling with like, oh shoot, I made a mistake, So I apologize for the mistake. Thank you so much for going back and watching it. And if you haven't done that already, please go watch it, share it. I need to get those views back. I love this song so much. It was so much fun to make. I want everybody to understand that the lyrics of this song, like I watched Spinal Tap on Sunday. And so Monday I woke up and I was like, I want to write a rock sex song. I've never done it before. I thought it was hilarious. There are lines in that song. When I was writing those lyrics, I was sitting here just cracking myself up. I was like, the baby oil line makes me laugh. There's a few lines in there that just totally crack me up. Even the thumbnail, you guys, this is all like lighthearted in that like Spinal Tap vein, I'm not trying to like hurt anybody's feeling or objectify anybody or anything like that. This is a sex rock song. And I just sort of wanted to do it. It's part of the fun part about doing the Monday music thing is, especially at this point, because I've done so many that I'm just pushing every boundary wide open, and I'm like, screw it, let's just do everything because it's so much fun. I'm having so much fun doing Monday music for you guys. You guys are still watching and enjoying and commenting and being kind, and I thoroughly do appreciate that continued support. And you guys, I don't want you to forget, I know I have talked about it a bunch, but my Patreon page is really important, and that really is the way that this channel is surviving. I'm trying to find some new patrons to join us over there. It's like $1 a month if you want it to be. It can be super cheap, or you can pay nothing. Just sign up over on Patreon, and there's like stuff that comes out on that page that the YouTubers don't see, Facebookers don't see. Nobody sees except the Patreon people. And I'm going to be doing more of that, and I think that's about it for today. So please go watch the new mix and leave lots of comments, share it with your friends, and you guys have fun. Make as much music as you want. Make any kind of music you want. We're artists, and don't apologize for anything you want to do. You're an artist. It's like a get out of jail free card when it comes to making music. It's awesome. You do whatever you want because you should, because it's music and it's art and it's fun. It's just seriously fun to do. All right, that's it. You guys, peace and love.